So welcome back to another video. So in this one, activity 10, so we are going to develop a small JSP application. So in activity 9, so we got some basic understanding about JSP, so how to work with JSP. So in this activity we will see how we are going to develop a small application. So I think we have already created this application in different stages now. So in this time we are going to use the JSP as a technology to develop this application. So first so we will go to our NetBeans IDE. So in this one, first we need to create this form, and then we need to submit this information to a JSP page, and then we need to display this information back to the user like this. So after that we need to save this information to the database as well. So first we will complete this part, and after that we will move to the database site. So in JSP also, when you are going to use when you are going to connect the application to the database, so like in servlet, so we can follow the same steps. So we will first create a new project here. So again, Java web project, and this will be activity 10, and click finish. So here first we need to have this form. So I'm going to use this index.html page, and I'm going to create this form. So we have created this form several times now, so then so you should have a better idea so how to create this form now. So I will have the form tag here, because we need to submit user inputs to the server side, and form tag need to have action. So here we will use the action as register.jsp. So we are going to submit this information to this register.jsp. okay, so now we need to have form and method as well. So method is post. Okay, so I think it's better to add this form tag before the table, so I will add it here, and then this will also after the table closed. Okay, like this. So we can have it like this. So inside this table, so I'm going to use table row and table data. So first one is first name, and here again so we need to have input type equal to text, input type text. So we will have the name as first name. Okay, that's it. So now we need to have 5 rows like this. So this is for the last name, username and password, and also we are having a submit button. So this is submit button, so the type will be submit, and value will be register. So let's move the activity. Yes, register. So this will be password, and here the type should be password, and here also this should be password, and this should be username. Here also we'll change this to username, and here this should be last name, and we will change this to last name. Okay, that's it. So we have changed these things. So now we need to move to our servlet page. So we are going to create a servlet, or not servlet, JSP page called register here. Register. So in this register page, what we need to do is first we need to get these values. So we will add the scriptlet tag here, and now we need to get four values. One is first name, so we are going to access the request, and we are going to get parameter from request called first name. Okay, so like this, we need to get four. We need to get last name, we need to get username, we need to get password. So here last name, this should be username, and this should be password. But we discussed in our previous activities that we are not going to use a plain text password in any case, so we need to get a hash value for that one. To do that, we have used a different class in last activities, so therefore we are going to have the same structure or the same class in this one as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Java class now. So now we are in a JSP application. So when you're going to create a Java class, so now you need to go to source packages. Okay, not in web pages. Web pages is there to add web pages. JSP is a web page, so that is why we have added it and under this web pages. But now we are going to create a Java class. So therefore we are going to use this source packages. The first thing is we need to have a package name. So we will have a package called classes. Okay, so this is the package name. So inside this I'm going to create a package called so it's a JSP Java class. So I'm going to create a Java class, so this will be MD5. So now the MD5 class is there. So I already uploaded this class, so you can get this class and you can copy this code and you can paste it. So here you can paste it, and then you can import these necessary libraries. So you can import these necessary libraries like this. So now I'm going to use this one. Okay, so here, so we can use this one. But now this JSP is a web page, but MD5 is a class that we are having under the source packages. So when you're going to use this MD5 in this JSP page, in that case we need to use directories. So that is what we so if you went through my lecture notes, so you can see that we are having three types of directives. So one is page directive. So the page directive is we are going to use this page directive. So if we need to apply a certain things into our JSP page, okay, so then when you are going to convert this JSP page into a servlet, the JSP engine will consider this directory. Okay, so this one. So in this case, now we need to add this directory. So this is how we are going to add it. Okay, now this is also a directory, page directory. So here, so I'm going to add this page directory. The page directory is this one, at mark and page, and then we can have a attribute called import, and then we are going to import what? So we are going to import classes MD5. Okay, so classes MD5 we are going to import. So this is how we are going to import a class into JSP. Okay, so in Java or in servlet environment, we can directly type import and we can import it, but in JSP we can't, because it's a web page. So we are having a different structure. So we need to define it as a directive, and then we need to import it into our JSP environment. So now we can use it since we have imported it. So now we can use it, and we can call to this get MD5, and we can get the MD5 value like this. Okay, now we need to print these values back to the user. So we will go here, and we will type first name, and now we will use the assignment operator, not operator, assignment tag, JSP tag like this. And now we can print the first name. We can print the first name. So likewise we can print last name, username, password. So this will be last name, and here again last name, and this should be username, and here again username, and here password, and this should be password. So now we can run this one. Okay, you can see now we are getting the values like this. So it's very simple. What we have, okay, so we'll go to the code. So here what we did here, so first we got these user inputs into the variables by accessing the request object and calling this get parameter method. And then we are having a special scenario here because we are having a password, so we need to get the hash value. So then we have developed a MD5 class under source packages. We are having a package called classes. Under that we have developed implemented this MD5 class. So now we need to import it. So we cannot directly import, we need to import it as a directive here. So now we imported it as a directive like this. So then we can directly use this MD5 and we can call to this get MD5 method. After that we are going to print these values like this. So that is the first part of this activity. So you can see that, so this is what we need to do with this first part. But the next part, so we need to now save this information to the so that means the user inputs to the table. So now we will see how we are going to develop that part. So first we need to have this table. So I will copy this one, and we will go to our services, databases, and we will create a new database called activity 10. Okay, so now this is activity 10. So I'm going to execute this command to create this table. Okay, so now I have created this table. Okay, so this is a table. So now I'm going to delete this part because we don't need this part now. So I'm going to delete this part. Now I'm going to save this data to the database. So when you're going to save this data to the database, so in previous case we have used the OOP concept. So that means we have developed a DB connector class, and through that class we are managing the connection. So in this case also we are going to develop that class. So I will go to the classes. Now it's again a Java class. So therefore I'm going to the classes and I'm going to create new Java class called DB connector. Okay, so now we are going to develop this class. So what are the things that we need to have? What are the variables? So we are normally having a string URL is there, and string DB user is there, and string we have DB password is there, and again uh, string we have URL, DB user, DB password, and other than that we have driver. So these are the values that we are having normally. So we will first assign some empty values for these variables like this. So we are going to define some empty values like this. Okay, so I will format this code. So again here first I will going to get the URL. So I'm going to the services, and in this case I'm going to get the URL of this database. Okay, so I'm going to remove this additional text here. Okay, so this activity 10. and then the user here, I'm using the test user as the user, and password is also the test user, and driver, so we are going to use the driver here. The driver is you know that com dot my sql dot jdbc dot driver. So that is the name of the driver, that is the name of that is the name of. So now so you know that in our previous activity, so we have created these variables as final static one. So therefore so we discussed what is the benefit we are getting by converting this as a static and final ones. So we will follow the same structure here as well. So I'm going to convert this as final static like this. Okay, now so we will build our method. So we are going to have public method called the return type will be connection get connection to get the connection database connection. Okay, so here so we need to import so the first thing is we need to import java.sql.asterisk. So we are going to import these things. Okay, so now so here we are going to first thing is we need to register this driver. So we are going to use class dot for name here, and we are going to register this driver first, and in this case we are getting some exceptions, so we can use this throw clause to throw the exception. So without using this one specific one, so we will use the general one, the exception. And now we are going to create the connection call con equal so we are going to call to this driver manager dot get connection. Okay, so in this case we need to pass url and db user and db password. Okay, so we are going to send these values, then we can get the connection. So after that we can return this connection like this. Okay, so this is our db connector class. So now we are going to save this data to the database. So this is okay, now this is the values we got. So now we are going to save this data. So the first thing is when you are going to save, so we need to have a query. So we are going to have a query here. So query is what? Insert query here. Insert into, so what's the table? User, and we are going to insert data only to first name and last name and username and password. Okay, then values, since we are going to use a parameterized query here, so we are going to have placeholders. Okay, so we have 4 placeholders like this. So now we are going to create a prepared statement. Prepared statement called pstmt equal, so we are going to use the connection. So first we need to have the connection. So now we can call to our db connector class. So we are going to use our db connector class, and we are going to first we will create the connection. Okay, so here we are going to create the connection. Okay, we didn't import it first neither. So now so now we are going to import this first. So this is how we are going to import. So we need to use a directory here. So we are going to use a page directory and import. So now we need to import java.sql.asterisk. So we can import now. So now connection is con equal, so we can call to db db connector class, and we can call to get. Okay, so we didn't convert this into a static method. So here we have created this as a generic method, so we will create it as a static method now, because all these variables are static, so therefore we can create this as a static method because it belongs to the class. So now we can call to this now we can go here and we can call to this get connection method directly without creating objects. So now we are having the connection, so I'm going to use the connection and I'm going to prepare a statement by using the query, okay, like this. Now I'm going to assign these values, pstmt dot set string. So the first one is actually the first name, okay. So likewise we have four placeholders, second one, third one, and fourth one. Second one is the last name, and then we are having username, and again we are having password, okay. So after setting these values, so what we need to do now, so we need to uh, okay, so now we need to execute this one. So we are going to execute an insert one, so therefore we will have how many rows affected, so we will have int a equal, and in this case we are going to use pstmt dot execute update. So now we can execute this query. So according to our activity, you can see that if this data is successfully saved to the database, we need to display a message by saying successfully saved, otherwise error occur. So now we are going to add that part. So in this body, so we are going to have scriptlet tag here like this, and I will put the end tag as well like this. So now I'm going to use if condition here. If a is greater than 0, so then we are going to uh, close this one, and we are going to have some HTML content here. So here we are going to add the message successfully saved message, okay. So we will use h3 here without using paragraph, okay. Else so this is the else part. Again we are going to add some HTML content, so therefore I'm going to close this scriptlet here, and I'm going to start this again here. Now I can add the HTML here, okay. So now we need to display error occurred. Error occurred message like this. Okay, now I'm going to run this one. So we will let's see whether this is going to work now. So I'm going to run it now. Okay, so I'm going to add this information, submit, yes, successfully saved. So we will go to our database and we will see whether the data is with our database table. Yes, you can see now the data is there. So that is how we are going to save data by using JSP environments. So there's no any additional thing here. The only thing is how we are going to import these classes into JSP environment. All the other part is what we already completed, or that means so we have actually executed, or we have actually coded these steps when we were implementing Java desktop application, and also when we were implementing servlet application, and the same steps here in JSP as well. But the important thing here is how we are going to import these external libraries into our JSP code. Okay, so we need to use directories, mainly the page directory, and we need to use the import attribute, and we need to import it. So then we can follow the same steps, and after that we can display a message to the user based on the results that we are getting after executing this query. Okay, so that's all about this one. So I will upload this source code as well, so you can go through the source code, and also you can go through this video, and you can try this activity, and you can also get some understanding about how to work with this JSP. So in the next activity, so we will see how to develop a kind of a complex application which is actually using sessions to by using this JSP technology. Thank you.